in this particular case, we'll look at some data that comes from the government. It's information about auto accidents and how they have resulted in various, again, whether the accident was severe or not, what car was used, lots of attributes around the conditions of that situation. With RapidMiner, then you can develop a number of pieces here to take such information and develop an operational application. Here are a few screenshots then of getting the data in, preparing it, and in fact doing some pretty advanced data preparation where in many data sets sometimes you find the data coded. You got to look up other tables of information to decode it or put it into some language that humans can understand. And this is an example of that, right? You can build some pretty advanced data preparation within the product here. And once you've done that, then we also apply and do some modeling, also some validation here, making sure the performance of the models are as good as we hope they are. And then once we have this, we go into this phase of operationalizing things. In this case, we're building a prescriptive application, basically an application where I can enter a number of constraints, and we will then apply the predictive model as well as optimize around those constraints to find a car that is most optimal for my type of driving and has the lowest accident rate. So we built all this up, and we can push this out then into a web-based application through our web services. So all those processes that I built there, I can pick any of them and then start to expose them here as a web service. And everything done here is through a graphical interface, right? It's now all ready to be used and consumed by some other application. In our case here, then, we built an application with the RapidMiner web application toolkit. And this application now allows me to enter a number of parameters here. That will be then sent back to the RapidMiner model and optimization routines and find an optimal vehicle for my particular driving needs. So, you know, if I go here and, for example, set this to be for a young person who likes to drive very fast, might live out in the Seattle area where it's rainy and wet, well, what kind of vehicle would reduce my risk of having a fatal accident? Well, turns out it's a Datsun, a compact utility. So that would be the best choice in that case. Maybe instead then I'm a retired ranger out in Arizona driving around in dry or dusty, muddy conditions and things like that. Well, what kind of truck or car would be applicable in that case? Again, the whole RapidMiner models and optimizations then that we showed in the earlier screens will go through and find the best car in that case. So a pretty simple example, but hopefully illustrative on what a prescriptive application can look like and how you could operationalize that. You could easily replace this with, let's say, a loan application or application for a mobile phone, things of that nature. All the same, like what, based on a number of models then and optimization and a set of constraints, we can find the best choice. And of course, you can fully take the step here and maybe integrate it with the purchase action in this case, or the approval of a loan, or the issuing of a particular service. And then let me quickly touch a little bit on the model management. As soon as we have put this stuff in place and we're running it, we want to monitor the performance of these models. We also want to be able to run them on the new data and in fact run through that whole process we built before and maybe comparing different models and see which ones are best. And you can set all that up. You can also define certain criteria in which you want to be alerted. Maybe there's certain performance attributes of the models that you are particularly keen about. If they are improving or changing, please notify me, and then I can make a decision on whether to deploy that new model or not.